we'll get started because I am respectful of your time. I want to welcome you to this public hearing for the 9th Congressional District. I'm Martha Zoller, and it's my honor to represent the 9th Congressional District for the State Board of Education. So the purpose of this hearing tonight is to hear from interested citizens and educators with from the Congressional District about public education matters within the Congressional District that are of importance to them. If you would like to speak tonight, please be sure you put your name on the sign-up sheet, which I have here. If there's anybody that's not on this sign-up sheet that wants to speak, just see Susan Walker, who I'll introduce in a moment. Before we get started, I must address a couple of business matters. I want to thank Mr. Schofield, the Superintendent of Polk County Schools, and Lanier College and Career Academy's Principal, Mitch Murray. Thank you so much for allowing me to use this facility for the hearing, and I want to thank the staff of Lanier College and Career Academy for their assistance with the logistics to set up for this hearing. I have asked to reserve the room for 1 hour to hear your comments, and they've been very gracious and welcoming. And of course, if we get done before that, then all the better. We can sit around and talk afterwards. Also, I want to introduce Susan Walker. She serves as the Director of Policy at the Georgia State Department of Education. She's here tonight to assist with this hearing. Finally, a word about how to conduct this hearing. I know that everyone is going to conduct themselves in a polite and respectful manner. There will be no clapping or booing or other expressions of approval or disapproval of a speaker or a speaker's remarks during this hearing. Second, this hearing is intended to be a listening session where I take your feedback and concerns and relay them to the full board for consideration. As an individual board member, I'm unable to speak on behalf of the full board. Each state board member is tasked with conducting these hearings annually, and we share the feedback collected throughout the state and inform our policy decisions and actions with this information that we have collected. To conclude the meeting in a timely manner, we hear from everyone who wants to speak. Please be sure you put your name on the sign-in sheet, which we talked about, and each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. I'll call the names of the speakers and in order listed on the sign-in sheet. If you are not here when your name is called or do not respond when your name is called, I will go to the next speaker on the list. Since you cannot give your time to someone else, if someone wants to echo what another speaker said, just say, I agree with Mr. Smith about that, and your remarks will be duly noted. And again, each speaker has 3 minutes to speak. Here's how the time clock is going to work. Ms. Walker is going to start the stopwatch with a green go card will appear. Next, you will see the yellow 30 seconds remaining card, and then red will be the stop card for your 3 minutes. Of course, finish your thought, but we'll let you know when 3 minutes has gone up. Then we'll call the next.
I actually don't have a green card, but I've got the yellow.
Okay, that's right. Okay, good. Very good. That's good to know. Okay, I know. I want to thank each of you for coming tonight and sharing your concerns about public education with me. I look forward to listening to what you have to say. So thank you very much for being here. Okay, so let's start with Chris Slate.
Okay.
And you can just stand or sit or whatever you want to do.
I'm pretty loud. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. All right. So I guess you're the only person that really has to hear me.
That's right. And
Okay.
Susan will be taking notes.
Okay. So I guess I have been attending Hall County School Board meetings ever since the budget came out and our taxes went up. So that's what really got me being in real estate for 30 years and the taxes being up. I wanted to see what in the heck they're spending all this money on, because 69% of our tax money goes to the school. And that, it takes more to run the schools than it takes to run the whole county. So that's what got me interested in coming to these meetings. And over the course of the meetings, I've attended the work sessions as well as the meetings. And there's a couple things that I think should be handled. And one of them, I think, is that the meeting should be taped. Because these aren't taped, and people that don't go to the meeting can't reference anything that has come up at the school board meeting. So, and in this day and age, with technology as it is, these meetings should really be being taped. The website for Hall
You're talking about the local Hall County
Board of
meeting.
Education
Okay,
meetings and the work sessions.
Okay.
And then they break off to executive session, and we don't, know what goes on, which is fine, which is what they're supposed to do. But, the meeting should be available to people. A lot of time, the very first time that I dialed in, I was dropped and I couldn't get back in. So there's audio problems. If the people in the audience aren't using the microphone, nobody that's dialed in can hear what they're saying. So those are all kind of things that we'd like to see improved. Let's see here. Here's just another example. 2 days ago, the agenda came out for the meeting, and within 24 hours, the agenda changed, so they had a new agenda within 24 hours, and I think that if they probably should give more notice about the change in agenda. So I'd like to see that within, instead of 24 hours, here's one agenda, and I've got copies of those that you can bring back to the state to see how they changed, if you'd like that. One of the first things that kind of shocked me about the budget was the superintendent had $200 million with his name and no description. And this is when the cattle farm was coming around, and I said, well, what's the budget for the cattle farm? And he said there's no budget for the cattle farm. So I guess the bottom line is I would like to, because Hull County Schools is not utilizing the farm for meat, and they are buying and selling, I think it's time for a forensic audit of some of the areas of Hull County Schools. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris, appreciate it. Katrina Holcomb.
So I'm a parent of a child in the Hull County School District. He is now in 7th grade. He started in 2nd grade on an IEP. The numbers he has dyslexia and dysgraphia. And the numbers for English language arts of children in 6th grade, proficient and distinguished learners, is 10.7%. These are students with disabilities who have IEPs, individual education plans, which should be written according to their needs and the deficits, and their goals should be measurable for progress for their deficits. In the reading, only 23.5% of students in 6th grade in 2024 were proficient or distinguished readers. That's a huge problem in our county. We started on the IEP in 2nd grade. It quickly became a source of frustration for our son. Then it became a source of frustration for our family. Then it became a big burden for him and for our family. We have tried and tried and tried to get people at the central office to take our concerns and hear them and take them seriously. We get patronizing responses. My husband has just finally given up. I want to read to you something that was written to Vicki when she sent in a request. She said, "Why is it that you can find so much time to devote to the livestock and the farm, built very close to your home, but cannot meet with parents of disabled children that have reached out to you about concerns in their kids' classrooms?" One of those people was me. Those parents want to know if you feel animals have more needs than their children. And that's kind of how we felt when the ESSER funds came rolling out and started asking questions of what are you going to do for these children that have been left behind. This was happening before COVID. They're given these huge amounts of money, and we wanted to know what they were doing with those funds. His response was, "I meet with parents regularly who have earnest, legitimate questions," meaning that I don't. "On area of our operation, I spend very little time, which is none, with me, because he refused to meet with us, me and my husband and our advocate, meeting with individuals who make a routine of wasting our district's time and money." May I finish reading this little piece and then I'll be done? "Resources with multiple official complaints and allegations." Ma'am, those allegations have found them out of compliance in multiple areas, and mostly for not implementing IEPs and for not providing a free and appropriate public education for children. And he said he spends hundreds of thousands of dollars gathering information at the expense of students with real issues. My child has real issues. Our family has real issues because we've had to rearrange our budget and our time to accommodate for what he is not getting at school on an IEP.
Thank you for your comments. Vicky and Stanley Kennedy.
Oh, he doesn't want to talk.
He doesn't want to talk to you.
You get double time.
Does anybody want to go before me? Because I'd rather like wrap it up if y'all want to talk first. Would that be acceptable?
That's fine.
Yeah, change order, okay. Okay, so let's go Stacy Morgan.
Yeah, because this is just brief what I want to say. What I've experienced at the board meetings that I have been to and the
And you're
ones.
talking about Hall County?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That I have watched online, is the fact that anytime you go to those meetings, and I've been to lots of board meetings, but I've never experienced this before, the superintendent 100% leads those meetings. And it's always been my understanding, and I may be wrong, I'm just making this comment. It was my understanding that a board meeting should be led by the chair of the board. And honestly, there's no, it's like those board members have, basically, I don't know if they don't have any say or they just don't say anything, but when you go, he 100% leads the meeting, does all the talking, makes all the comments. If somebody has a question, he is the one who answers it. It's like the board, I just feel like the board is who represents us, but yet when you go to those meetings, they're not representing us. They don't say anything on our behalf. I've only heard maybe 2 board members speak briefly about something that was asked, but I would say in every meeting I've been to and watched online, he controls 98% of that meeting. And that's just very bizarre to me as a taxpayer of Hall County that we don't have the representation, and we have some new board members. There's some new people that's been voted in. It's not totally the same board that's been there forever. So I don't really know what the issue is, but it just appears to me that we don't have any representation, and that's a concern for me.
Is that completed your remarks?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Adverse to.
Jackie Hall?
Well, I mean, all they do is the board, they just move to pass something and second it. That's all
Never
they
any
say.
discussion.
There's nothing. It's the same two that do the first, whatever it is, and the same one that does seconds it. And that's all they do. So I don't even, and they've never, ever, one time since we've been attending these meetings, they have never not passed a motion. Never. Doesn't matter what it is, they pass it.
So do you have, are those your comments?
Yeah.
Okay. Vicky Kennedy.
Okay. I want to give a little background, and I talk really fast, so this will be short, on why I'm here. I started off with Board of Assessors and Board of Commissioners getting involved because our taxes were going up. The firemen called us in because I have some lifelong friends there, and it's been going on since 2017. As a result of our group that we've got together, there's now 8 either elected or appointed officials that are no longer in the positions they had because of information that we brought out. We changed the name from the Gillsville Mafia to Concerned Citizens of Hall County because it sounded a lot nicer. That was the term that the firemen gave us, okay? We are only actively involved when people call on us, like the special ed parents. I don't have a special ed child, but I do have a voice in Hall County, and I listened to you on the radio, and this morning you said, I'm a Christian, and I have the right to my opinion, and that's all we are asking for. It has nothing to do with Rhonda Samples or Mr. Schofield personally, or any of y'all, any of the administrators. We want answers, and as taxpayers and as parents, we expect to get those answers. We do not need somebody to talk to us in a condescending manner. They do not need to be rude. They do not need to become irate to the point I thought he was going to come across the table at me at a board meeting, which is recorded and has been put on YouTube by our friend Lauren Taylor and has been viewed 15,000 times. While I do not agree with Lauren Taylor's verbiage all of the time, I do love her tenacity and her willing to fight verbally for the special ed children and for the parents of Hall County in a county she doesn't even live in. She has fought DeKalb County and won twice against the Board of Education. So when he mentions to us multiple times that he wants to go into an executive session to discuss pending litigation against us, okay, if that's what they're wanting to do. But this is gonna involve people on a state level, elected and not in office yet positions, that know about what's going on and have asked us to get involved. It's gonna be long and drawn out, because our small group, as he likes to call it, has over 2,500 members on a Facebook page that I created, and we're just trying to get answers. Why was $9 million spent on a farm when we're failing in special ed areas, special needs areas? The playground is not, the people are complaining about the playgrounds, even when it's Sandra Deal. All of that mulch, I don't know the terminology on special ed playgrounds. Part of it's bark, part of it's that other.
Right.
Okay, people have gotten to me about that. They reach out to us because they know I don't have a problem speaking out. We are just fighting for what we feel like we deserve. As taxpayers, we want answers, and we want somebody to listen to us. If you or somebody on the Georgia, y'all know that you've gotten the emails over the past several months, and we don't have to comment on those right now. I don't always agree with the terminology, but I wish somebody would listen to us and look at the documentation that we have, because we have the documents that we pull through open records, through text messages from employees, former employees, different people. We have the documents. That's what we're asking for. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
I just want to say this too, one last thing. I think this is a shame that there's only this many people that have shown up when there's that many keyboard warriors that sit at home, and this is recorded and it will be put on Facebook. They don't have time to come to these meetings. I didn't know that you offered it once a year, and I appreciate y'all doing this. And we don't want to be just the problem, or y'all to feel like we're part of the problem. We want to help get a solution, just like we got Shelley elected and Drew Eccles elected and Greg Poole replaced, that whole thing. We want to be a part of the solution, and we're here. We don't know how else to get people involved.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate the way you have presented all the issues. Does anybody else want to speak?
I will say something. He made a comment.
And that's Stanley Kennedy.
That we're just drunk. We're thinking that they're just drunken sailors just spending money which way or whatever, I retired from Hall County school system. I know both sides of it, and it's not a pretty picture.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else want to make a comment? I wanted to, before we got, just kind of take a little point of personal privilege that I think you got this on the way in. There's a event that's going to be here on December the 6th. Everybody got one of these. So I hope that you all can come to this. Anybody else want to say anything?
Can I add one more thing?
Yes.
I've already had my time, but.
That's all right.
One of the things that concerns me is the people that have voiced displeasure with the superintendent. The superintendent has turned around and filed a federal lawsuit on those people. And every time before we leave a meeting, he always threatens that he's going to be filing tortious interference on 4 to 5 people, and gives a dollar amount of what he's going to be suing for. So if these things were taped, you would know that he's threatening the taxpayers almost at every single meeting. Thank you.
For 5 months.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, well, I would like to thank you all again for attending this listening session for the 9th Congressional District. Your input is invaluable, and I will pass it along. It's invaluable to my work, and I represent you on the State Board of Education. I'm very appreciative of your time and your commitment to the schools in this district, and if you have additional information that you'd like to share with me, please email me at martha.zoller@doe.k12.ga.us. I wish it was easier than that.
It'll be recorded.
Let me try again.
It's
I'm going to
recorded.
do it one more time. martha.zoller@doe.k12.ga.us. You would think we could have an easier one. It ought to be godot.org is what it ought to be, okay? But I can't help that, all right? This is, if you remember, these were some of the earliest email addresses. All the school systems have these crazy ones that are really hard to remember. But be safe and have a good evening.
Thank you for hearing us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I had one more thing.